Hi everyone, and welcome to the BackPAGE on the 24th of June 2023. Today I just wanted to do some housekeeping. Basically, we've had a couple of weeks without the BackPAGE. So what I wanted to do was just do some housekeeping, maybe recap some of the things we've talked about so far. We will be making the BackPAGE basically a chapter or group of videos because there's a lot of additional content outside of the BackPAGE that I want to produce. I won't always be putting this on the Facebook page or emailing it out to everybody because let's face it, there's a fine line between an informative email newsletter and spamming. So I'll just be putting that on the YouTube. So if you want to keep track of all of that content, please make sure that you subscribe and jump onto YouTube and see what we're actually putting out there. If you subscribe, you will actually be notified that we have new content going up. You'll get a little notification and you can jump in and have a look. It's going to be by far and away the best way to keep track of all of the exciting, I think it's exciting, new information that we're putting out there. So first off, in terms of getting the newsletter, a lot of it's going to go out through Facebook. If, once again, you jump onto the YouTube, you can get it from there. You'll get a notification if you subscribe. Obviously, when we're talking about YouTube or Facebook, it's great to like and interact with the post. Interaction is best taken through the comments. In terms of the content we've covered so far, I suppose the really big ones are breaking down our approach to care. We talk about the 5 pillars, which is the thing I've come up with to try to simplify care, where we have 2 which I classify as being passive. So passive in that the patient doesn't have the workload put on them. They are basically promoting movement or restoration of movement in the spine. Predominantly, that's where the spinal adjustments, the very traditional approach to chiropractic, come from. And the other one is facilitating healing. A lot of that leans on the traction that we do, especially when we talk about discs. That's a very specialized thing that we do exceptionally well at TASC, obviously in my opinion. But also the manipulation, spinal adjustments, they really do aim to facilitate optimal healing by getting normal movement back and getting people back and on track. The remaining 3 of the 5 pillars are what I call active, and they're active because they put the onus on the patient to do the work. They basically come down to ergonomics, which is home and workplace ergonomics. So making sure that your ergonomic setup, the way you bend, the way you lift things, the way you sit at your desk, that's probably the biggest one. The way you sit in the car is ergonomically sound, because that way you're not undoing the good work that we do when you're here. You're actually building on that work, which makes a massive difference. In terms of building, that segues nicely into the next section, which is exercise. That starts with prescribed exercise, and everybody has been given prescribed exercise, whether that's the core 4 that I talk about, whether it's the isometric cervical exercises, which I've advocated in the BackPAGE episodes so far. That is, of course, the foundation level. That then goes on to more specialized exercise. We will be bringing what's called BackFit Pro into the clinic to allow people to go to optimizing their activities to a more specialized and a more individualized way of exercising, and also using that exercise to manage their care better. It also segues through to exercise that you do independent of the practice, and whether that's you play amateur sport, whether it's you play high-level sport. We have many elite patients at the practice, but basically providing a level of care which is tailored to you, whatever level of exercise and performance that you want, whether that is walking the dog around the block a couple of times a day, or whether it's trying to go to the World Masters Championships in your chosen sport. Finally, we come to lifestyle factors. That's the third of the active compartments, pillars of the 5 pillars of care. And that is basically a very big section encompassing diets. We have Renee, who is obviously our resident nutritionist, does a fantastic job on diet, which is a massive component of health, to activities that we do, goes from psychological things to diet, all the way through to activities. basically anything that doesn't come under the other ones. It's a big section, and we will be producing content. Once again, if you want to see that content, subscribe to the YouTube channel. I am getting to the point now where with patients in visits, I'm just telling them to go to the YouTube channel and telling them what to find. I will send the emails out, but the videos will be on the YouTube content. So it's actually a really effective way to engage with people. And one thing, it's taken me almost 20 years of practice to figure out, but I actually really like teaching. Unfortunately, it's not always possible to teach, certainly to patients or students, because universities are universities, and universities have their ways of operating. And quite frankly, I'm a lot happier with the freedom that I get in a private practice model, because I can get out there and do what I feel that I have to do without any of the strings that come with being associated with a formal institution. In terms of booking appointments, there's a couple of different ways you can do that. You can obviously call us, and that's fantastic. Love talking to everybody on the phone, but it's not always efficient, because I might be with a patient, the phone may be unattended, it may be 2 a.m. in the morning. So obviously no one's going to be answering your phone at 2 a.m. Therefore, we have online booking. You can book online at pretty much any time, other than I think it's a period of time immediately before the adjustment. You can actually book online. Go through the website, and I believe it's in the top right of the website. Click the link and you can go through and make an appointment. Please make sure you book the right kind of appointment, because if you're trying to book an initial appointment and you accidentally book a regular appointment, you may not allow us the time that we need to appropriately attend to your care. So if it's the first time you've been in, make sure you book an initial appointment. So there you have it. You can literally book an appointment 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days per year. Obviously that's different in a leap year. But you can also call in, and you can also book at the end of your next appointment. We all lead busy lifestyles. A really important thing that I've always wanted to try to do is create a clinic that can cater for different people's ways of managing themselves. There are some patients we have, and if we don't book them for a monthly visit, assuming that's the kind of management care style that they're looking for, if we don't book them at the time of their last appointment, it's simply not going to be practical for them to attend in 4 weeks, because their diaries are booked out several weeks in advance. If they haven't diarised it by the time it arrives at 4 weeks, they're probably not going to be able to get in for another 2 weeks, and it may even be that they just end up putting it off even further. That may work for some patients who are just happy to bounce from basically crisis visit to crisis visit, and if that's you, you know who you are. It's not the ideal way of managing your spinal health, but for some, it's just the best way that it's just the best way that people can do it here and now. Obviously, everyone would love to have this utopian existence where they get whatever care they want and they've got ample time to get it, but it doesn't work for everybody. On the other hand, some people are really good at figuring out when it's time. Some people need a nudge, and in that respect, I've created the cervical quick scan, which you'll all remember, and if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to revise it now. You can go back and look at the previous videos. There is also a specific video on the YouTube in the Ashgrove Spinal Centre's account that you can go to and you can watch it. And what that is it's just a way to try to give you an indication of how your neck is travelling. It's not an absolute measure, but it just gives you an indication. You can do the cervical quick scan, and if there's something that concerns you or you think that you could be moving better, give us a call, jump on the website, but book an appointment and come in and see us, and we can take care of you. In terms of exercises, I alluded to it earlier. This is a bit of a pet thing of mine. I'm not a huge fan of the stretches that people do in the neck. For example, putting your left ear on your left shoulder and dragging it further over. I'm not a massive fan of that, because generally people are going to be prompted to do this kind of stretch when their neck's a bit irritable, and it's my feeling that they probably end up irritating their neck a little bit further. I'm a much bigger fan of isometric, so iso meaning same, metric meaning distance, where you basically push your head into your hand. You push for about 8 seconds. We've talked about this before. I will be putting an isometric cervical stretch video to accompany the cervical quick scan in on the YouTube. So you can probably tell there's a theme emerging. Subscribe to the Ashgrove Spinal Centre on YouTube. It will make things infinitely easier, and you'll get access to some of the really valuable content that we're producing in the future. In any case, great to talk to you. Hope to see you in the practice soon. Keep up with the content. It will be valuable, and I'll see you soon.